What is my vision? What is my goal? What do I bring to the table that countless others have not already served up on this massive platter of visual pollution we create each and every day? I wanted to release this episode at this time of year because, honestly, for the past few years, even though things in my business have grown, have been better, and I've loved life more than I ever could have imagined. The other night I was talking to my wife and we just talked about how grateful we were for this year, even though it had been really, really hard. And every winter, I get to this time of year and despite all that gratitude, despite all the things that have gone well, I often find myself having these irrational feelings that I've had. And I know that other creatives and other people during this time of year get into this mode. And so this isn't just monetary either. We spend a whole year comparing ourselves to our past selves. In addition to that, we compare ourselves to our competitors, and we keep trying to grasp at the idea of a long-term plan or a future of knowing what to do. And there's something about this time where maybe you become depressed, or you start thinking irrationally, like you go a week without having a lead. You start wondering if you're going to make it. If the plans that you've put in place, if you even have any plans. There were some winters when I came in and I was like, man, I really hope some gigs come in. And, I had to kind of do the things I talked about in that past episode when your back is up against the wall. And you get to this time of year and you're just questioning everything. And it's not the good kind of questioning. You're not at a whiteboard with a few friends that you trust and saying, hey guys, let's just open everything up. This is the bad kind of questioning. This is the can't sleep at night. Am I good enough? Do my clients like me? Is my work good enough? Do I matter? Is what I'm doing purposeful enough, or even making a dent in the universe? This time of year is super tough. And one of my biggest goals with this podcast is to talk about the things that nobody else wants to talk about. And I want to demystify the things that it takes to run, build, and grow a sustainable and thriving creative business. But in addition to all the fun things like Instagram followers and Facebook likes and speaking at engagements and all kinds of things, episodes like the sexual assault episode with Kate Masters of Honeybook, episodes like the episode with Gary Williams and racism in the creative industry, episodes like what to do when your back is up against the wall, and even episode 1, all the way back to episode 1, when I talk about how I failed, one of my biggest failures in life. This podcast is in addition to those. This is in that section of the library, if you will. And so if you're listening and you're like, Adam, what the hell are you talking about? What does this even mean? I would say just wait. If you haven't had a winter where you got closer to winter and you're like, man, am I even doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Then just wait. It'll happen sometime sooner or later, unless you're like a reindeer and you get really excited around this time of year. There's a photographer that I like. His name is Zach Arias, and he has a video called Transform. And he says so many good nuggets. And it's kind of a longer video. It's like 10, 12 minutes. But he says something specifically that resonates with me often, and especially during this time. Zach says, what is my vision? What is my goal? What do I bring to the table that countless others have not already served up on this massive platter of visual pollution we create each and every day? I heard this video. I watched this video like 10 years ago before I even knew what I was doing. And I was like, man, this video is so good. And now, especially with Instagram, and I love Instagram. Like, it's such a great app. And there's so many good tools that we have. But this phrase from Zach is the past few years, it's something that I've been channeling everything I do through. Like in the video, he talks about how he pays his bills with the camera, and it's amazing. But at the same time, like, his dad is dying in the hospital and will never speak again. And if you're 80 years old and flat on your back, you're not caring about this cool portrait series or this hashtag you started or this community that you're building. You're just not. And for me and what I do, and for a lot of you and what you do, this is more than just a camera. The camera is the expression of who you already are and what you want to do and who you're becoming. The camera is just a tool. You're a craftsman, you're a communicator, you're a passionate person, and the camera just happened to be the thing that worked with your hands and your mind. Some people are hairdressers, some people are master carpenters, some people are lawyers. But ultimately, what we do is just an expression continued of who we are. So if all we're doing is just serving up garbage on this massive platter of visual pollution, as Zach says, then what are we doing? So I would encourage you to listen to that video. Watch that video. It's links in the show notes. I'll even post it on the Instagram if you want. Skip through the first minute if you want, but he's very sarcastic about it and how, like, he talks about all the things that don't matter in the first minute. But I don't know. I think this just could be winter. You know, it's cold up here in the Northeast, and everybody gets kind of depressed, if you will, and no one's going out. No one's shooting just for fun. There's no awesome light. There's not a lot of awesome sunsets. It's just not a big time for people. Oftentimes, you get to the end of the year, and so for me, if we're just counting, I've shot about 200,000 photos this year, and I have some that I really like, and I have some that, as I've grown each year, have really made me proud of what I've done and who I am and how I've affected clients' lives. But that's such a small percentage, like less than 1% of those 200,000 images I've photographed are ones that I'm so proud of. And ultimately, it's not even a relationship to the clients that, you know, a lot of the clients are happy. We got good reviews this year. But I think most of that work sucks. You know, I think a lot of those photos are not my best work, and a lot of those photos don't make you come alive. And no matter what you do, you're always kind of chasing the dragon, as we say, like looking for fulfillment. And if you ultimately run a business by yourself, you feel like your worth is determined by how well your business is doing. And thus, if your business doesn't seem to be doing well, or the work isn't that good, then you think that you're not that good, and you think that you're not of worth, and you think that you are not enough. You don't feel like you have as much to show as you would for all of the work that you've done this year, all the blood, sweat, and tears, all the meetings that you missed, all the fun things that you missed, all the Saturdays where friends were like, hey, we're doing this amazing thing, it'd be perfect for you, and you missed it because you were working and you're doing what you feel like you're called to do. And you get to the end of the year and it might not feel like those things were worth it. The other thing about winter too is, like, money might not be coming in. You have to really, like, dive in and analyze when leads come in and when you get your work, how you get your work. You kind of have to be a nerd about it, even when it's not fun, because it's still a business and you still have to run it. Sometimes leads and bookings seem like stagnant, or maybe we're not getting as much attention on social media that we used to, or we had a really nice, like, pop during the year when things are going well, and maybe we gained a lot of followers, something like that. And now things are kind of normal, or maybe we've just gotten used to the new normal. Ultimately, guys, it just feels boring sometimes, honestly. This is something that, again, this episode is so weird, but I wanted to have this out for those who knew what this is and knew how it felt to go into winter. It just feels really boring sometimes. But something that one of my mentees said about winter, and really just kind of like not having the feeling of being valued, is you actually start to believe the bully who has you cornered or worse, and you could take the bait and waste time proving to that person or system that you are enough. And so what he's trying to say is that you have this feeling, and then ultimately, if you're an action-based person, your reaction is to do something to counteract what you're doing, to book more clients, to run a mini sessions, to get more money in your pocket, to get replies. Maybe you repost those really popular images, and to try and get the same attention and traction. And ultimately, you're trying to prove to the voice in your head that you are more valued than that voice in your head is saying that you are, if that makes sense. And so I just want to encourage you guys with this. Winter's here, and I know this is silly, but I want to encourage you with this. And this matters all year round, but this is what it's all about. And so I just want to dive in real quick, and I just want to say this to you guys. You are enough. Your worth, business, personal, whatever, is not determined by dollars, likes, or diamonds. You can do this, but you may have to wait a little while and to stick it out to feel the reward and to see the fruition of the work that you've done this year, if that makes sense. I need you to keep going. I need you to know that you have got this and that you should keep trying. If you push, it'll happen. I promise. If I can do this, you can do this. If you would honestly love for me to evaluate what you're doing, or just want somebody to check on your work, or just give a word of guidance, like, feel free to email me, hit me up on Patreon. There are plenty of ways to find me if you trust me. I know sometimes it's better to have a stranger like me look at your stuff than it is to have a friend or a colleague who's local, and it might feel kind of weird. So reach out. Let's just dive into that, and let's do that together. You are enough. You are awesome, and you are so cool. Thank you guys so much for listening. And seriously, I'm not going to ask for anything. There's no call to action or anything like that. There's no Patreon or anything, mentorship, anything like that. Just want to let you guys know that although winter is coming, you're awesome. You're enough. Your worth is not determined by dollars, likes, or diamonds. You've got this. Keep going. Thank you guys.